What if I told you the United States isn't just sending weapons to Israel anymore? It's considering permanently intertwining parts of its military technology and defense industry with Israel's. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments, no, the United States and Israel are not combining their armies. American soldiers won't suddenly report to Israeli generals, at least yet. But in my opinion, that's not the real story. The real story is that the United States is considering making its military technology, weapons development, and defense industries far more intertwined with Israel's than they already are. And I think every American should be paying attention. Supporters say this is about strengthening an important ally, improving military innovation, and making both countries safer. But I have some questions. If these two countries begin jointly developing artificial intelligence, missile defense systems, autonomous weapons, cybersecurity, and next-generation military technology, where does one country's national interest end and the other's begin? If future American weapon systems depend on Israeli technology, or Israeli systems depend on American production, does that make it harder for a future president or Congress to change course? Does it become more difficult to place conditions on military cooperation? And does America become less able to make completely independent decisions? And I think there's another question that deserves to be asked. At the same time this deeper military integration is being proposed, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the subject of an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity related to the Gaza conflict. Of course, Netanyahu denies those allegations, and Israel rejects both the accusations and the court's jurisdiction, world court's jurisdiction. But regardless of where you stand on the case, these are among the most serious allegations that can be made against the leader of a country. So I think it's fair to ask, should the United States be deepening its military relationship with any government whose leader is facing allegations of this magnitude? For me, this isn't about being anti-Jewish. It isn't about being ordinary Israelis. It's about governments, and it's about accountability. And it's about whether any democracy should become so deeply integrated with another country's defense industry that disentangling that relationship becomes politically, economically, and strategically difficult. Countries cooperate all the time. They share intelligence. They conduct joint military exercises. They develop technology together. That's normal. But there is a difference between cooperation and long-term strategic entanglement. In my opinion, once military research, weapons development, artificial intelligence, defense contractors, and supply chains become deeply interconnected, changing that relationship becomes far more difficult than simply electing a different government. Whether you support this initiative or oppose it, I think every citizen should be asking the same question. And that is, how much military integration is too much before it begins limiting a country's ability to make independent decisions? Because once those systems are built together, they're much harder to pull apart.